Good morning, class 6. Welcome back after the examination. I hope you people have done well in the examination. Let's begin with chapter 7, Ashoka, the emperor who gave up war. And I also think that you must have studied about Ashoka in the previous classes. Let's begin with the chapter, Roshan's rupees. Roshan clutched the crisp note that her grandfather had given her on her birthday, while she badly wanted to buy a new CD. She also wanted to just sit and feel the brand new notes. It was then that she noticed that all of them had a smiling face of Gandhiji printed on the right and a tiny set of lines on the left. What were the lines there for? She wondered. You must have noticed that on the note as well as on the coins there are a set of lines. Have you ever wondered why they are made there? So this was a question which came in the mind of Roshan as well. She had got it as a gift from her grandfather on her birthday. And when she noticed it, she was wondering what is the set of lines doing there. Now let's begin with the chapter. A very big kingdom is an empire. The lion that we see on our notes and coins have a long history. They were carved in stone and placed on top of a massive stone pillar at Sarnath. If you have been to Varanasi and visited Sarnath, you must have seen this massive piece of four lions and this picture there, and it is you must have noticed it on the note and the coins also. It has been taken from there. Ashoka was one of the greatest rulers known to history, and on his instructions, inscriptions were inscribed on pillars. So now the instructions, that is, like in those days it was not very easy to give the instructions to the people. So the ruler, he wanted to give some instruction to his people, so they were inscribed, and people used to read the instruction given by their king and used to follow them. So it was written on the pillars, sometimes on the rock surfaces. Before we find out what was written in these inscriptions, let us see why his kingdom was called an empire. The empire that Ashoka ruled was founded by his grandfather, Chandragupta Maurya, more than 2300 years ago. Chandragupta was supported by a wise man called Chanakya or Kautilya. Many of Chanakya's ideas were written down in his book called Arthashastra. It is a very famous book, and still it is considered to be very important for understanding political issues. Now you must have studied about Ashoka. He is one of the popular leaders or ruler of ancient history, and he is known as one of the greatest Indian emperor of Mauryan dynasty, who ruled India from 268 BC to around 232 BC. He is popular because initially he followed Hinduism, but later on he converted to Buddhism, and he has left no stone unturned in spreading of Buddhism. His empire stretched from present-day Afghanistan in the west to Bangladesh in the east. His capital was in Thakshila and Ujjain. But in 260 BC, he fought a war of Kalinga. Before we talk about the Kalinga war, I would like to tell you about the war of succession, in which how he ascended the throne. There are a lot of theories, although we do not know the exact history of it, but then people believe that he had killed 99 of his brothers to ascend the throne. So, and in the Kalinga war, huge massacre was huge number of people were killed, and seeing that, he felt very bad, and after that he just gave up the violence. He had sent many Buddhist monks to Sri Lanka as well as to Central Asia. Now let's see what is dynasty. When members of same family become rulers one after another, the family is often called a dynasty. The Mauryans were a dynasty with three important rulers. That is, like the father rules, then his son, after him his son, and that goes on. That is the hereditary. So that is known as dynasty. Here Bindusar Chandragupta Maurya, his son Bindusar, and then Bindusar's son Ashoka ascended the throne. The places where inscriptions of Ashoka have been found are marked with red dots. You can see it in the map. The red dots which are there on the map, they are the places where inscriptions. So you can see that not only in India but also in places like Afghanistan, you can see that inscriptions have been found. Then there are these were included within the empire. Name the countries. So that is, there were several cities in the empire with black dots on the map. You can see that as well, like Ujjain, Patliputra. These are the places with the black dots. These include the capital Patliputra, Thakshila and Ujjain. Thakshila was a gateway to the northwest, including Central Asia, while Ujjain lay on the route. So gateway to the northwest means that from that side, people could get entry and they could visit the whole country. They could come inside and tour the whole country. So that was the gateway to the whole country, including Central Asia, while Ujjain lay on the route from north to south. Merchants, officials and craftspersons probably lived in these cities. So the merchants, officials and craftspersons, they lived in the cities. In other areas there were villages and farmers and herders, like nowadays also farmers and herders, they live in the villages. In some areas such as Central India there were forests where people gathered forest produce and hunted animals for food. People in different parts of the empire spoke different languages. So that is very obvious that people living in different areas, they spoke different languages. They probably ate different kind of food and wore different kinds of clothes as well. How are empire different from kingdom? So emperors need more resources than kings. So now how can you differentiate like an empire from a kingdom? Emperors, they need more resources from more resources than kings. King rules a kingdom, emperor rules an empire, right? So emperor needs more resources than kings, and as the empires are larger than kingdoms and need to be protected by big armies, so they need obviously larger number of officials who can collect more taxes. So that means kingdoms are comparatively smaller and empires are bigger. That is all for today, class. Please read the chapter. If you have any query, you can ask me. Thank you. Take care of yourselves.